Welcome to How to Make Soap with the Tucson Village Farm. We're here getting a lesson from master soap maker Alex Atkin herself, also the farm manager at Tucson Village Farm. So she's starting off by lining her soap molds. If you don't have a soap mold, you can use a Pringles tin. We're just lining it with parchment paper and it makes really cute, pretty circular soaps. To start off, you can gather your materials. We're using a recipe from the Nerdy Farm Wife, and we'll post that in the description so you can follow. It's good to have a scale when you're making soap so that you can weigh your ingredients. That way you're going to use the right amount of oils to counteract the lye in the soap. If you do get any lye on your skin, vinegar can counteract that burn. So we're going to get started by measuring out our lye on our scale. We're wearing gloves, and you can also wear goggles, can't be too safe. Now we're mixing our lye into our distilled water very, very slowly, about a quarter teaspoon at a time, always being super careful with the lye. Next, you can measure out your solid oils, and we're just gonna melt those on a low heat. That's your coconut oil and your shea butter. One helpful tip is that if you change up your recipe, you can find a lye calculator online so that you can make sure that you're still using the right amount of oils to counteract your lye. Next up, we're gonna weigh out our liquid oils. We've got olive oil, sunflower oil, castor oil. The castor oil is what makes the soap lather, so if you do change up your recipe, make sure you include castor oil if you want a good foamy soap. Now we'll add our liquid oils along with our melted solid oils to the crock pot. Before we add in our lye solution, Alex is going to take the temperature of both the oils and the lye to make sure that everything is at the same temperature before we mix them together. And here Alex is adding the lye solution to the oils. This is where saponification goes down, which is the process of creating soap. Pretty neat. Now Alex is blending up the soap with an immersion blender. We're using stainless steel. Just make sure that you're not using any aluminum because that can be reactive with the soap. You're gonna blend until you reach trace, and that means that some soap flicked across the surface leaves a line on the surface, and it looks like this. So at this point you can turn your crock pot on low. Here is a video of what it looked like at 30 minutes, and here is a time lapse of the last 10 minutes or so. So once the hour is up, your soap is ready to be mixed. You can turn off your crock pot and let it cool. We're gonna be adding honey, and we don't wanna scald the honey, so we'll let the soap cool while we get that prepared. We're gonna mix our honey in with some water. The water will help it blend with the rest of the soap. And big shout out to Tucson Honey Co., Tucson Gold Honey. We also added a little lavender essential oil. So we're gonna mix that all into our batch and make sure it's well mixed so that no ingredients settle. We also added a tablespoon of ground oats. We just ground those up in a food processor. Now Alex is ladling the finished product into our prepared soap molds. We're gonna let this cure for 24 hours. This is a hot process soap, which means we sped up the process by heating it in the crock pot. You can use a similar recipe to make a cold process soap without the heat, and that's gonna take up to a month to cure. It's been 24 hours, so our soap is ready to come out of its mold. At this point, you can cut up your soap. We're going to show you how we're preparing our soap to be donated. We're cutting it into thin slices, and we're also putting the soap into sandwich bags so it's easy to carry around. Here are the finished bars of soap. Thank you all so much for watching. Let us know in the comments if you tried this recipe out, and have a great day.